Let's take an example. You are a Vietnamese man. Hell, you are from any Southeast Asian country and you want to make a life for yourself in Europe or America. So, you get your documents in order. You get a passport, you head to the airport, fly out of your country. You arrive at another airport. Your passport gets stamped. As you exit the airport, you are surrounded by a group of weird Chinese hoodlums. They begin roughing you up, stuff you in a van. The next thing you know, you're in a Chinese factory working as a slave for Chinese bosses. And you are still not where you thought you were flying to. You are in a country you have never heard about. This is what is happening in Serbia. Hi and welcome. You're watching TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm Siddharth, your host. In this video, I will tell you how the people of Serbia are beginning to stand up to their government as well as China. Let's begin. China has bought the Serbian government, or what can be rather called the dictatorial regime of President Aleksandar Vučić. The man has sold Serbia to China. Serbia shares a close cultural affinity with Russia. However, it is also inkling to join the European Union. Simultaneously, the Vučić regime is in bed with China. China has pumped in billions of dollars into Serbia and has practically bought off the country. Chinese companies operate in Serbia and exploit their workforce and resources without any checks and balances. Beijing has been given a free hand by Belgrade to do as it pleases, but the people of Serbia are beginning to stand up to their government as well as China. Hundreds of people on November 27 appeared simultaneously in the capital Belgrade, the northern city of Novi Sad and other locations to block main bridges and roads for 1 hour in what organizers described as a warning blockade. The Serbians were protesting against laws on property expropriation. The laws allow for swift expropriation of private property if deemed to be in the public interest. Activists argue this will pave the way for foreign companies to circumvent popular discontent over projects. Essentially, the laws passed by Serbia are aimed at squarely benefiting China. China is also specifically targeting Vietnamese workers in Serbia. These workers are mostly trafficked and lured into Serbia with the promise of being shifted to European countries. However, upon arrival, their passports are seized by the Chinese and they are made to work as slaves at Chinese factories in Serbia. Now, these workers have decided to stand up to China's blatant human rights abuses and they are going to expose the dangers posed to Serbians by China. In the small northern city of Zrenjanin, considered a centerpiece of Beijing-backed investment in Serbia, a Chinese tire company called Linglong employs forced labor and uses them as slaves. The situation at the factory and the alleged deception used to lure employees has made headlines in Serbia after Nguyen and hundreds of other Vietnamese went on strike this week. According to one such Vietnamese worker, "We are living as if we were in jail. All our passports were kept by the Chinese when we arrived at the airport." On Friday, China forced the workers at the factory to sign a declaration under duress. The statement they signed said that they had voluntarily and consciously agreed to work at the site. However, this is a brazen lie. As one of the workers at the factory said, "Everybody became anxious and scared, without knowing what the Chinese would do to us. We don't want to work in the Chinese company. We want to leave. Please help us." The Serbian president is a shameless man. So, in response to the strike at the Chinese factory and the intimidation of Vietnamese workers therein, he said, "What do you want? To destroy an investment worth $900 million? If the Vietnamese need to be helped, we will help. But we will not chase the investors away." Aleksandar Vučić said the Chinese investments will continue to be a priority for him. During the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, Vučić kissed the Chinese flag after receiving medical supplies sent by Beijing. Also, last year, Vučić said China's leader Xi Jinping is not only a dear friend, but a brother. Chinese money has kept afloat two of Serbia's biggest but badly listed manufacturing enterprises. Subsequently, Vučić described Chinese investors as Serbia's saviors. While the government of Serbia has surrendered to China, the people are beginning to stand up against Beijing. Despite China buying out the government, it has failed to impress the people of Serbia and bring them under its control. Serbians and foreigners alike are now beginning to push back against China. One will not be surprised to find out in the near future that the new anti-China protests are funded and supported by Russia, which would view the current discontent in Serbia as a golden opportunity to kick China out of the country for good.